Hi, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'm here with my friends Brian and Hollis Owens, and we're continuing in our stewardship campaign, Gravity. So this conversation is going to be a little bit about getting to know y'all and also like talking about your commitment to First Church. No pressure. Are you ready?
We're ready.
Will you tell me a little bit about like why you're at First Church?
Well, my story's easy. I was born into this church. My parents were here. My grandparents went here.
Which that was a new fact. I didn't know that until today.
Yeah. So I didn't really have any other, point of perspective of where church would be. Yeah. Going away to college and then being in my 20s outside of Dallas. Mm-hmm. I think I looked around a little bit, but I never even remotely found anything that felt like home. And so, fortunately, we were drawn back here and, moved back. And when Hollis and I got married, and this was the natural place to go, and it's felt like home again ever since.
Yeah. Did it feel like home for you? I think it's easy to feel at home when there are generations before you.
Growing up, I never had anything like this.
Wow.
My mom is Jewish and my dad was Methodist. And so I grew up in a household where we didn't talk about our faith as much. And so, meeting Brian and realizing that, gosh, he's been part of this multi-generational, this opportunity for a family, a church family. So it was really new to me. So I loved it. I loved it, and I still love it. When we first started dating, his grandmother Dolly was still with us, and so I got to meet her. And at that time, we had lunches downstairs after church in the old dining room.
Yes,
and so we would sit together and visit and hear about lock-ins and Bible groups and just all the fun history of the church. So I'm glad I got that opportunity with Dolly.
Yeah. Well, now you're raising 4 girls in the same church. Will you tell us their names and their ages?
Yep.
Yeah.
Charlotte is 20, and she's a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
Lawrence is a senior in the Variations. Emily is a junior, also in the Variations. And then we have Letty, who is in 6th grade in Zone 56.
Oh, my gosh. When I just love, you're really getting to continue this intergenerational ministry with your own family. Right? It's really cool if people know where they're sitting in the balcony. You can see, the grandparents and y'all and the kids all sitting together, and I just love that.
It is
so
special.
Fun.
It's a special time to come every week and know that we're going to be with our family and sitting together, and where grandparents and great-grandparents have sat before. So.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how has y'all's faith journey evolved since coming here?
A lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got this lucky, but I was invited by a group of women to be a part of a covenant group, and we meet every week. We've met for almost 11 years every week. And so these 5 ladies have just made a huge difference in my journey. When you have that consistent just authentic friendship, it's really priceless. Yeah. And I always know that I'm being held by this group of women. And so, it's been a journey for us.
Yeah. Over 11 years, I hope so.
We've been through so much together.
Wow.
But I told my mom that I was, going to be speaking in church today about stewardship and what the church means to us. And my mom said, well, that's easy. For me as your mom, I know that you're going to be okay because you have that church family. So to know that your child is being held by the church is something that is just, it's so special. And so now that I'm a mom of these 4 girls, I get that. Yeah. So for my mom to say that, it's just awesome.
Oh, I love that. And to come from a home where you didn't talk about it much growing up, and now your mom is this is so much a part of your life. It's your backbone and your foundation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so special.
So I've grown a lot in my faith and really discovered who I am.
Yeah.
And so, I've often encouraged Brian, to like try to find a group, because I do think that is such a great opportunity. And so I hope that more and more people at our church can come together to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, not to brag on you, but I will for a second. You've led our mission, vision, and strategy team this year. And so you're someone that's grown up in the church, went away in your 20s, came back to do kind of significant work in your adult life. Did you even think that you would do that, like as a kid around here?
No, I that's funny. I think when you're a kid, you just kind of think of yourself as a kid, and then as a youth, and then you go off and kind of do your thing for 10 years. And I think I had a really good foundation growing up. I remember my Sunday school classes, and I think David Black was one of my teachers that I remember well.
The best,
And so I felt like I had a really good foundation, and I think naturally, as many people do, you kind of stray and go off and do different things. I think coming back, finding places to plug in, I think mission and outreach has been a really awesome place for me to go meet new people, go and see God's work in action, and be inspired in my own faith journey that way. Working with the youth is something I've kind of recently gotten back into, and I really enjoy that in the same way that David, worked with me. And then serving on committees, where I have unique skills where I can kind of apply those, but also be with other people. I think that community, however you do that, is key.
Yeah, it is key. Well, I really appreciate y'all letting us into a little bit of that. I think it's so special. But we are in our stewardship campaign, so I'd be remiss not to ask this question. And we're just kind of curious, like, how y'all give faithfully and generously to the church. How does that conversation start in your family? Like, what does that look like for y'all? Is it an automatic, like we know? Like, is it a...
It's changed over the years.
Okay, I respect that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be perfectly honest and transparent here. Brian had that strong foundation.
Yes.
And he knew the importance of what this church family, like what this meant. Yeah. I was just coming in, right? And so I didn't have that. I've lived with it, though, now for, over 20 years, 22 years, I guess it is now. And I get it. And over those years, it has changed. Our conversation has changed. Initially, it was, Brian would say, this is how much we need to give. Mm-hmm. And I'm the one who pays the bills. And so I'd look at our situation
Easy
and go,
for me to say when I'm not looking at the bills.
Same in my household.
we can't do that.
Right.
Like, I understand how important this is, but we can't do that. And he was always so sure. Yes, this is what we need to do. Now let everything else fall into place, but this is something we need to do. And so now it's a given. Now we do talk about the amount just based on our year and our household bills, but now it's more about, okay, what can we do now? And so there's never a question that we're going to give. It's just, how much can we do this year?
Yeah. And
so, but I do get the wanting to hold on, knowing that it is a challenge. Yeah. Our gravity theme for this month is very relevant here.
Yes.
It's, really wanting to hold on to the things, but then also realizing you need to let go. And I'm gonna let you add since I'm talking too much.
No, it's so good.
It's life is life, and especially if kids have gotten older, it's the gravity is pulling more. It feels like. But I think it's just kind of reminding yourself to live in an abundant mentality and not a scarcity mentality in everything that you do.
Yeah.
And that's always easier said than done. But
yeah, that's a good word, though. If you knew someone who was like on the fence of giving to First Church, what would you tell them?
I would just say look around at what you're investing in. It's such an amazing place. The people, I mean, you guys, the clergy, are just unbelievable. There's no B team. It's like, it doesn't matter who's preaching. I'm like, this is awesome.
Thanks.
The music and arts, the opportunities for that, new areas like the modern services, certainly everything for the kids and the youth. I mean, there's so much.
Yeah.
And it's got to get paid for and somehow, but it's an amazing investment, and so.
And I would say too, because I didn't have that history that he has had, and just looking at what the church has provided our 4 girls over the last 20 years in terms of a strong foundation.
It's
And
priceless, right?
when I think about myself too, discovering more about who I am and my purpose in the world, the church has helped me find that.
Yeah.
And so when you think about not only, for the children, but for me and for our marriage, having that common thread is really, really special and priceless. And, if our girls may grow up and not, they may go off, and that's fine. It is fine. But it is, our Agape Sunday School class has been together for almost 20 years, 20 years in January. And so those friendships are lasting. And I feel like we are held, the 2 of us are held by our friends in our Sunday school class as well. So
I feel like this church has some gravity to it too. It pulls you back.
Yeah.
Some of the kids will go off, but I know it will. They've had those special bonds that you're talking about, and so hopefully it will pull them back too.
Yeah. Well, I love this. I mean, not only are you superstars for pulling the gravity theme all the way through, I did not prep them for that. You really spoke to how our church gets to create spaces for belonging, purpose, justice, and joy. And what a gift that is. Thank you for sitting down with me. Thank you for sharing your story. And we hope that you're enjoying the series. Thanks for watching.